Hello, I'm Candace, Scalese, CBS 21 News. I am the morning and noon news anchor here, and we have had a wicked winter in 2025. Snow, ice, more snow. That's what we're talking about today. I want to bring in the meteorologist I work with every single day, the one and only Steve Knight. Steve, I had to brush off my car this morning, and I'm not going to say I was surprised because I knew it was coming, but some spots got a lot more snow than others.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we thought coming into this storm, is areas to the south would do better with this storm, because the core of this storm was actually down around the DC area, where some spots there got over a half a foot of snow. We were always on the northern fringe. So basically, from the state line, the further north you got, in general, you saw less snow. You and I were talking about how, we drove through New Cumberland, and there was about an inch, maybe an inch and a half of snow. And then we got to the station in Harrisburg, and there was really only a coating, probably less than an inch. So yeah, every mile that you went further north mattered in terms of how much snow that you saw. And getting a little bit of a break here during the day. We're just having some flurries here during the day. Then we've got another push of wintry weather coming in tonight after 4. We're going to see not only some snow, but I think a little bit of sleet and freezing rain. I don't think it's going to be as much ice as what we saw over the weekend, but then eventually that will all change over to plain rain. So yeah, we're not done yet.
Yeah, I have to say I much prefer the snow to ice that we dealt with last week. So even though it's hampering some travel and it's still an inconvenience, it's a lot better than it was. I know Kennedy's been tracking our traffic throughout the day. Let's bring her in real quick. Kennedy, what are you seeing right now? How are the roads looking?
Yeah, Candace, the roads are actually looking a lot better than they did earlier this morning. I mean, we have a few live looks here for you. We have 283, your PA Turnpike, a lot more traffic picking up here as people head out for work and their lunch. So things are looking good. We're not tracking any accidents right now, but we did have some accidents earlier this morning. One that I was tracking was actually in York County. A car actually crashed and then went into an embankment. Thankfully, no injuries were reported with that. But here's a live look as you're traveling through 222 this afternoon. Things look like things are shaping up nicely as well as you hit 283. But do expect some delays there as you travel from Harrisburg to Lancaster to Lebanon. Going to take you around 52 minutes, but things are all in the green here as you travel from Carlisle to Chambersburg. Another thing that I was looking at earlier this morning was flights. And thankfully, there were no flights that were canceled here at the Harrisburg International Airport. But FlightAware said in the U.S. there were around 600 delays and 6,000 delays and 600 cancellations. So looked a lot differently here. Thankfully, no cancellations, no delays as people headed out this morning at the airport.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's really good news. I know we've talked about just sitting on a plane as they de-ice it before, which is never fun because you just want to go. Better to be safe, though. This happened this morning. Take a look at some of these photos we got into our newsroom. This is from a tractor trailer that jackknifed, and then there was another crash on that same road. So that jackknifed trailer, that was around 1:30 this morning on Nottingham Road. That was in Little Britain Township. So that scene was cleared around 5 a.m., but then this car accident happened with 2 vehicles on that same road, Nottingham Road, this morning. So even though it's not the ice that we were talking about from last week, it's still snow and it's still impacting a lot of our roadways. Like you just said, Kennedy, you had that car that you were tracking that crashed into a ditch. Yasmine, Cowan was also in York County in the southern part of our coverage area this morning. And that meant when we talked to you earlier this morning, it was still snowing with some flurries, and it sounds like you're near some construction now in Harrisburg.
Yeah, so York County, and when I was driving in to the station, some of the back roads were very slippery because we did have a good amount of snow. So when I drove into York County, the roads were pretty clear. As you can see, the snow was sticking, but it wasn't really sticking too much to the ground. But when I arrived in York County, there was so much snow. But that wasn't stopping anyone because there were so many motorists on the road. You can see right now, there's some construction behind me, and that's not stopping them getting. There's a lot on this roadway here. So, yeah, I mean, the snow is not stopping anyone. They're still working on the street. So, but you can see right now here on the ground. I mean, it's not really sticking on the streets as much, but I mean, the snow is definitely prevalent here in Harrisburg and earlier when I was in. And there's a lot of people on the roadways right now as well. So even though there's quite a bit of snowfall, people are still on the roads getting to where they need to go.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna cut back from Yasmine because we can't hear her very well. She's doing she was talking though a lot about construction out and just the roadways because they're looking a lot better than they were earlier this morning. So when I was driving in around 3 a.m., half the road was covered in snow and some icy mixture, and then the other half ended up being clear. I guess that's where the salt trucks with PennDOT was out and about. They're going to be out again today, putting down salt, making sure our roadways are clear. So what are we expecting tonight, Steve? Because I know this is round 2 of this storm, which is not only impacting us, but regionally. You were talking about DC getting snow. What are we seeing coming up tonight?
Yeah, look, tonight's going to be, a nuisance once again. People just have to watch out for some slick spots that are going to be out there. Unfortunately, this is going to be, during the evening commute. I really don't see a changeover to plain rain until after like 7, 8 o'clock tonight. And then overnight, it's just going to be plain rain. Temperatures, it's one of those unusual situations where, normally, of course, temperatures drop overnight, but this is a system that's going to be bringing in some warmer air. So temperatures are actually going to be on the rise. And some good news in that tomorrow morning for the morning commute, not only do I think that we're done with the precipitation, save for maybe some patchy drizzle, that type of thing, but it's going to be in the mid 30s. It's going to be somewhere between 35 and 38 degrees tomorrow morning. So roads should just be wet tomorrow morning, which that is good news.
Yeah, Kennedy was super busy last week. And I know, Kennedy, you tracked a few accidents this morning too in the traffic center of just, it's not even that people aren't being careful. It's just sometimes you can't control your car. I know that our digital person, Grace, she came in this morning. There was a road closure, so she went around and her car ended up sliding into a curb. So any advice, Kennedy or Steve, when it comes to driving in these conditions?
Stay home.
Take it slow.
Stay home, take it slow. I like those. I mean, I can do both of them. So I like that plan.
Well, look.
What were you gonna say,
we
Steve?
know that everybody can't stay home. Okay, obviously, we came into work. Look at the first responders that are out there, firefighters. Where Yasmine was at, there's construction workers. We know not everybody can stay home, but by and large, here today during the day, roadways are just wet. Your travel shouldn't be that bad through the day. Tonight, obviously, you're just going to have to watch out for slick spots. If you do have to be out and about, I think Kennedy said it best in 3 words: take it slow. The worst times for travel tonight will basically be between about 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. And like I said, I don't think this is going to bring us more ice than what we saw over the weekend, and probably in most cases a lot less.
Yeah. Okay, good. That's the look of the Susquehanna River right now in Harrisburg that is frozen over. You can see all the bridges right there. So kind of a crazy sight as the ice keeps shifting there. I also want to talk about, there was a fire that Yasmine went to this morning. It was around 5:30. And there's actually a hole in the roof of the house. It's the 100 block of South Harrison Street in the Palmyra borough. So there were apparently 3 homes impacted here. And one of the reasons that this ties to weather is a lot of times when firefighters are on the scene, they will encounter a frozen fire hydrant, or when they are putting out the flames, the water from their hoses ends up frozen on the ground and then they end up slipping. So there's a high risk for firefighters and for emergency responders to slip and fall, and it could be really dangerous. So, and I know a lot of people use space heaters. I mean, there are a number of reasons for fires during the winter, but just a good reminder to be extra careful. Wrap up those pipes if you need to, protect your plants with this cold weather. And of course, we know nobody was hurt in that fire, and it looks like 3 homes were impacted. You could see there that roof was damaged as well. So just a good reminder for us, Steve, to do all the weather preps that we talk about, but we actually have to remember to do because it doesn't.
Yeah, right. We talk all the time about, always having, a weather plan in place. And look, woohoo, we're going to eventually get to springtime. Well, we know what that means. That means severe weather season and power outages and gusty winds, and hopefully we don't start dealing with tornado watches and tornado warnings. So, we live in an active part of the country. So, we deal with weather issues here. You've been here long enough now, Candace, that weather is an issue here in Central PA, and sometimes, in a lot of cases, unfortunately, a damaging issue here in Central PA. So it's always good to just have that weather plan in place, and really take it a step further. Any real civil emergency, you want to have some kind of a plan in place in the event that you would lose power, especially for an extended amount of time. So that's something we always stress to folks. But I think I'm as guilty as the next person. If I lost my power for more than 3 days, well, I'd probably have to go to my parents' house.
Right. It's like you'd be knocking on your neighbor's door and be
Yeah,
like,
right.
"No,
Go home to mom
you
and
guys
dad
have
with my
power?"
tail between my legs, like I'm 15 years old again. Yeah.
Right. Please take me in. Yeah. And I
Right.
know people will say, oh, we're in Pennsylvania. We're used to the ice and snow. Yeah.
Mm.
But we can all use that reminder to drive slow. We can all use the reminder to have that weather plan. So as you can see, it certainly impacts people's lives. It impacts our workers who are out. We have construction workers outside of our studio this morning. So it impacts everybody who has to work outside in these conditions too. So just a heads up as you are preparing for the rest of the week. Steve's also watching another system coming our way on Saturday. So we are certainly not out of the woods yet. So what are you predicting for that?
Well, right now, I think we're going to have a period of some snow changing over to a wintry mix. And this is going to, if you look at that graphic there, that's 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon. This is going to move in midday on Saturday. Temperatures will warm and will eventually change everything over to plain rain. But I think it's going to be pretty sloppy at the outset with some snow and the potential there for even some sleet, some freezing rain. As of right now, this is Wednesday, but kind of the bullseye for bad travel would be midday on Saturday, and then warming up and just plain rain Saturday night, wrapping up as plain rain on Sunday morning. And one of the things, we talk about how, common sense things like take it easy if you have to be out and traveling. We'll say it over and over and over again. We'll say it ad nauseum. Give driving tips, and then we have a morning like this morning. And look, we talk about tractor trailer drivers. They are seasoned professionals when it comes to driving. Okay. Then we have a morning like this morning, and inevitably we have an uptick in a rash of incidents and accidents because that's just Mother Nature's doing.
Yeah.
So, we always stress, hey, be careful. And this is why those pictures that you're seeing right there.
Yeah, those first responders. And the worst thing is getting in an accident, right? I mean, it's just like, talk about ruining your day. Luckily, everyone's okay in these photos, but it's just better to be careful.
Yeah, I'm looking at that pickup truck and that photo right there, and the airbag deployed. So
yeah,
that was a pretty heavy duty front impact there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Well, if you guys want to stay up to date with the weather and with news happening in your neighborhood, you can always watch us here at CBS 21 Next. And we're going to keep you updated on all things. We're doing these YouTube broadcasts more and more just to keep you updated and have a conversation with you. If you have any news that you want us to know about, you can always head to cbs21.com, shoot us an email, and of course, hit subscribe. That's the way you get all of the updates in a timely manner. So that's going to do it for us right here at 21 Next. And that was Steve Knight, our meteorologist, Kennedy Miller with traffic, Yasmine Cowan out in the field reporting, and I am Candace Scalese, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.